Yay! We're
Yay!
live.
Live.
Hello,
Three.
Internet.
Hello, Internet.
All right. Okay. I wonder if anyone's going to join us today.
They will.
Okay. Let me drop the link to
The humans.
you.
Thank you. I'm a human. Yeah. Oh.
Mute.
So last week, the homework was to make a tree, a Christmas tree, using JavaScript.
Yes, and we got stuck.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, let's take a look.
Mm-hmm.
We're following this video of this man. I think, yes, we got stuck. Are you going to share your screen?
You share your screen.
Okay.
Yeah, we were following a video that was teaching us in Java. So some of the stuff we had to translate. So and we got kind of lost based on this translation.
I see. Okay. Let's see what, so what did you get working?
It prints the stars, but we couldn't get it to print it in the... It's doing like the number of stars instead of... Like it's doing 3 stars. The number 3 stars.
Okay, let's see it.
Yeah. Share.
Okay. I see. Okay. I see. But I didn't teach you guys for loops yet. So you didn't need to use any for loops, yeah?
True.
Oh, so you wanted us just literally to print the tree?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess it's good that you tried to do it with for loops, but that was not... It wasn't a requirement. Maybe my assignment was slightly too easy with just print the tree.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, he just wants us to print out the tree.
Yeah, because we only got to if statements. You need, in order to do anything interesting, we need loops. Yeah. But okay. Let's now. So today we're gonna do loops, and I'm gonna leave you with the same homework. But okay, well, you tried to do it with... It looks like you've already got a loop there, so that's cool.
Interesting.
All right. Let's... do you want to try and make the tree with what you've got then?
Let's do it.
All right. So, okay. Let's start. So the easiest way to do this is to start by making the tree with just some console log commands, right? And then once... Oh, there's one thing I wanted to talk about, actually, which is, more generally speaking, there's 2 parts to programming. There is learning to write code, learning the syntax, and then instructing the computer to do something. But then there is also problem solving. And problem solving is actually not the same skill as programming. So we're actually doing both at the same time here, right? We're trying to solve a problem using programming as our thing, right? So sometimes I'm going to be teaching you problem solving skills like today, as well as syntax also today. We're going to do both. So when I'm telling you that there's different ways to to do this, right? I'm really talking about the fact that problem solving is a interesting. So problem solving is part and parcel of this whole story. Okay, now the only problem with Quokka is not gonna render this properly. As you can see, it's stripping out our spaces. So that's kind of interesting. But that's okay, because the only place that this actually needs to work is in the terminal here. So if we run main, save first, run main, there's the beginning of our tree. Yeah, at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll just keep going.
Can you put Unstream on the TV, please?
You can do too.
Oh, right.
Make sure you mute it.
So let's take a look at what we're doing here, yeah?
One moment. Two. Okay. I had to mute you quickly.
Oh.
Okay, go ahead.
I said look at sort of what we're doing here, as we sort of make our tree. Are you sort of noticing a pattern? Because that's what the key is, really, to most programming. It's to discover what is the pattern. So there's our Christmas tree. And then let's run it and see if it works. There's the tree. What do you think?
One moment.
Sorry, we don't see the tree.
Well, we're watching your stream, so I think it's delayed.
Uh-oh, how much is it delayed? Hold on, I'm going to share my screen.
It's delayed by a lot.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm just going to share my whole screen with you. Sometimes the delay sucks. Let's present entire screen. Or maybe I'll do a window today. Share now. Because we're not using a browser. No. I'll share everything.
I think the delay was a lot. Like.
Oh no, it's because you didn't hit live.
Oh, sorry, Don. My bad.
You're bad?
Yeah.
So are we doing it with the stream then? Are we going back to the stream? Should I stop share?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Your tree has multiple spikes.
Yeah. So we sort of have the right idea here, yeah? So here's where you can see it. Now, maybe you disagree. Maybe you think this tree is no good. That's your prerogative, I guess.
I love it, okay?
You love it? Okay. But maybe you think that there needs to be more layers. Whatever. It's fine. But the key to problem solving is identifying patterns. So if we're making a tree, I think you can identify two or three patterns here. One is that at each stage, there's always an odd number of stars, right? And we start with 1, and we go to 3, then we go to 5. Then we go from 3 to 5 to 7. Then we go from 5 to 7 to 9, and then we do the trunk, right? So the pattern seems to be in groups of 3, you're going to increment, and then after the third one, you're going to decrement, and then you're going to increment, decrement, increment, decrement, if that makes sense. So you could make your tree very tall by continuing that pattern, if that makes sense, yeah?
Mm.
Now, it looks to me like you may have gotten stuck because you didn't know how to print multiple stars in a row.
Mm.
So we should do that. Here is, I'm not going to solve it on the stream. I want to leave the homework, but I'll unstick you by giving you the building blocks that you're going to need. So if you need to print 2 stars in a row, the way that you can do that is, let's say you want to print a variable number of stars, right? So the way to do that would be, I don't know. Let's look it up. That's always the best thing. JavaScript string format. Well, you know what? Let's do it this way. So you can do this, right? You can do star plus star, yeah? And the result of this is 2 stars, right? So we know that we can do it at least this way, right?
Mhm.
So if you want to, we can say var, not var, sorry, let stars equal
Oh, right.
an
Okay.
empty string for let I equal 0, I less than however many stars you want, I plus plus. I haven't taught you for loops yet, so I'm not expecting you to know this. And then you just say stars plus equals a star. Then if we console.log the stars, we get the number of stars you want, 3. Right?
Mhm.
Right. So that's a thing. So I'm going to leave this here because the next thing I wanted to do was loops. So let's talk about loops. So a loop is a thing that lets you go over multiple items. Lets you do something multiple times in a row. It's very useful, as you can see. We used it to make 3 stars with just one little thing, right? Let's say we wanted 5 stars. You could change this to 5, and now you have 5 stars. You could change it to 10, and now you have 10 stars. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's break down this loop, because there's a bunch of syntax here. There's a for. So our loops usually start with for. And then we have these parentheses, open and a close. And then we have our initial condition. Okay? So the initial condition is sort of like, in this case here, the loop iteration variable. The number starts somewhere. In this case, we start at 0. Why? Because most of, I don't know, programmers have, for time immemorials, been using 0 as our starting number. Then this part here is the condition we're going to check to see when we exit the loop. Right? So when I is, as long as I is less than 10, the loop will run. And the moment that I is no longer less than 10, then we will exit the loop. Does that make sense?
Wait, what determines? So, because the number is 10. If it's more than 10, it won't be in the loop anymore.
It will exit the loop, yeah. So the way to read code in general is you read top to bottom. So let's reduce this number to 4. Okay, so we're going to print, so it prints, we ultimately end up with a variable called stars, and stars is equal to 4 stars, yeah? So we start by saying, make a variable called stars, and it's empty, right? Now we have this, go ahead, Sach, you have a question?
No, it's just because it's blurry on the screen.
Ooh, would you like me to share my session with you guys, and then
Yes.
with you folks, and then you'll be able to like join.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to see me selecting text in the editor. Let's paste that into our chat and have you folks join.
That would be helpful to me. Thank you.
Allow. Okay. Let me know when. Oh, Sach joined.
Yay.
Richard joined. welcome to the session.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
if you folks scroll to the bottom of the file, you'll see where we were at, yeah? Line 139.
Yeah, following, tracking you.
Cool. All right, so let stars is equal to empty quotes. What this is saying is we want to create our new variable called stars, and then we have our for loop. And our for loop just says, okay, make a variable called I, make it equal to 0. And then as long as the value of I is less than 4, you're going to run code inside the loop. So inside the loop, we're now going to say stars plus equals star. So this syntax basically appends star to the variable stars. It kind of looks a little funny, but I can write this another way. We can say stars is equal to stars plus a star.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So what this is saying is take the previous value of stars and then tack on another star and then store this result into our variable called stars. Make sense?
Yeah.
And then once you do this, you'll go back to the beginning of the loop and you'll do this. You'll say increment I by 1. So this is a shorthand for I equals I plus 1. Right?
Right.
Next, we do it again. So now I is 1. And then we'll say, is 1 less than 4? Yes. Do this. So now stars has 2 stars in it. Right? So so stars has 2 stars in it. Then we go back to the top of the loop and we increment I. I is now equal to 2. And then we're going to do it again. We're going to add another star. I is now equal to 3. And we'll go to the back to the top and we'll see, is 3 less than 4? Yes. So we'll increment, we will add another star. Then we will increment I. And now we'll check. Is 4 less than 4? It is not. 4 is equal to 4. 4 is not less than 4. So then we stop executing the loop. You got me?
Yeah.
Now, let's take a look at this for loop, yeah? Let's write it another way. There's multiple, we could actually write this loop in so many ways. We can achieve the same goal in many, many ways. Let me show you another way. So this is one way. Let's create another variable. Let stars 2 equal an empty string. Okay? So now we're doing a different way of doing this loop, yeah? Let's put this console log there. So in this loop now, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it with a different kind of loop. This new kind of loop is called a while loop. So this one here is known as a for loop. And now we have a while loop. So we can say while, and then the way a while loop works is you just need a condition. So the for loop uses like a whole bunch of things in here, whereas a while loop just takes one condition. It's kind of like a for loop with just this piece, just the condition that you're checking. Does that make sense? So we're going to say while I is less than 4, we're going to do a thing. We're going to say stars 2 is equal to stars 2 plus this, right? Now we can't quite run this yet because I doesn't exist, but it's still bad. Let's make I exist. Let's say let I equals 0. So there's
Can you also do it in brackets beside while?
Say again?
Can you also let I equal 0 within the brackets for the while statement?
You can't.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what makes it different. Now, if we ran this code as is, it would never stop because nothing is changing I. I is always less than 4, and we're just constantly adding stars to the stars 2 variable. And if I were to run it, oh, you can see it running down here. You see this little motion?
Yeah.
That's happening because Coca can't run anymore because we're in an infinite loop. So infinite loops are not good. We should avoid them. Here's how you fix it. You say I plus equals 1, or another way, I equals I plus 1. Save. And now everything's fixed. Now we're back to things working. We should print our console log here. Console log stars 2. And let's change the number so that you believe me that they're different. There we go. So as you can see, this loop is quite a bit shorter than this one. And that's because, you know, we needed to define I outside this loop, and we needed to increment I separately, right? So you can see that this code is not as tight, right? But guess what? We could write this code differently. Let's write this differently. So let's say let stars 3 equal an empty string, right? And instead of saying while I is less than 5, instead of that, let's just check the length of stars. While stars 3 dot length is less than 5, stars 3 plus equals, sorry, I'm so accustomed to writing everything shorthand. Stars.length is not a function, so let's remove the parentheses. Okay. Now, console.log stars 3. Check it out. And the nice thing about this is this has no I variable that we have to keep track of. Neat, huh?
Yeah, the variable is built into it.
Yeah, exactly. The variable's built into it. Now, here's another little trick. Any while loop can be written like a for loop. The same way that we did this stuff here, you can do it with a for loop too. So let's try it. Let's try it. Let's say let stars 4 equal this. We don't need a let actually. Yeah, sorry, no, we do. Let stars 4 equal this quote. Stars 4. Now here's the trick. Here's the thing. Let's say we want to write it like we did this while loop up here. So since we don't actually need an I, we can just remove it and just leave the semicolon all by itself.
Whoa.
And we can use the same condition that we have here. We can just say stars 4 dot length is less than some number. Let's try 7. And stars 4. Let's try it. So yeah, there, it's working there too. Yeah? And guess what? You don't need this I equals I plus 1 either. You can just remove it. Now, the only problem with this bit of code is I don't like if you can just if you can use a while loop, just use a while loop, right? This is an example of where a while loop would have just worked fine. So just do that. And by the way, you could also put this right here and have your loop be completely empty. That also works.
Oh my god.
I know. Now, I'm not sure if it's helpful for me to teach you this. I'm just showing you that, like, basically anything goes, right?
Goes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But because anything goes, I'm going to prescribe to you things that you should do. You should just always do it a specific way. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I recommend this kind of while loop, right? Have your variable defined, and then like have a while condition, do your thing, and end. If you're going to use a for loop, you can do it this way. Now, the thing you should know is that a lot of times you don't ever have to write loops this way. You can often write loops. This is like the brute force way to write a loop. And it's the old school way, and it's totally fine to do it this way. But there's almost always a cleaner, easier way to write your loop. So let's take a look at conditions where you would need a loop, but you don't want to use this kind of loop. Okay? So let's do a thing. Let's make, and actually the thing is, like, we're not doing a lot of math in our stream here and on this channel. We're doing logic, right? So a lot of things are just logic. So remember we were defining some fruits back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go and grab one of those fruits. So here's some fruits. So fruits currently has apple, banana, and orange.
And grape.
And grape. No, I think no, it doesn't. It doesn't have grape. We checked to see if it had grape, and it didn't have grape.
Oh, so down there is asking if it has grape.
Right. All right, so let's reuse that. I'm not going to bother defining a new fruit. I'm just going to use it. So let's take a, I'm going to have some code down here to look at the fruits. So there's the fruits. Apple, banana, orange. You got me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's say we want to loop through this list and do something with it. What do you want to do with it?
Eat it?
You want to eat it? All right, let's go. So we'll say for loop. We're going to for loop through the fruits. So we'll say for, and then we say let fruit in fruits. And then we say console.log I ate fruit. Oh, that didn't do what I thought it would do. For let fruit in fruits did not loop over it. I ate 0, I ate 1, I ate 2. Let's double check that that's what it's actually doing. Yeah, that's not correct. Hold on. Let's find out how to... I see it's giving you an index number. Well, if that's the case, you can do it like this. I ate fruits. I ate apple. I ate banana. I ate orange.
That's funny.
Maybe, I think we need here. There. I ate a apple.
Mm-hmm.
I ate a banana. I ate a orange. So actually we need a check. If there's a vowel at the beginning of the letter, we need an.
Right.
When there's no vowel, then we need a. So we can use an if statement for that. We can say if fruits of fruit, so this is the fruit, and then we need the first character. I think it's 0. Let's double check. Console.log. Let's see what this does. Console.log this. Oh yeah, cool. So it's checking to see what the letter is. A-B-O. So that's correct. So if this we want to see if this letter is inside a list. So the way to do that is we need our vowels. So our vowels are A, E, I, O, U, dot includes. So we're going to check to see if our vowel that we have here is included in this list. And if it is, then we need a let here. Well, let's call this. So if it isn't, we're going to have a let that says, I don't know what to call this word here. Article. Let article equal a. And then if this is true, then we want article to be equal to un. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then down here, we need, for fun, let's put a space here. That way we don't have to do any extra things. We can just do plus article.
That wouldn't work for orange. Wait.
An
I
orange.
ate
I
an
mean-
apple. I
I
ate
mean
a
banana.
Correct.
It would work for banana.
Check it out. An apple, a banana, an
Ah!
orange.
Oh my god. It did work.
Why did you think it wouldn't work?
I
So-
don't know.
So let's
Put vowels there. That makes sense. Okay, I get it now.
You get it? Okay. So that's a for loop. Now you can write this for loop in other ways, right? Let's do it again for fun, because you can go like this. Oh, we can get rid of this one. Let's rewrite this for loop using other mechanisms. So you can say for let I equal 0, I less than fruits dot length I plus plus, and now you need I instead of fruit, and that's another way to write this loop, right? We use I to index into the list. Now there's something that I thought was supposed to work here. I thought fruit was not supposed to be a number. I thought fruit was supposed to be the actual fruit. Let's quickly look up how to do that. So JavaScript loop through array. Okay. Loop through an array in JavaScript. Click, click, click.
Fruit in fruits.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Not in, but of. I think we need of. So let's come back to here. So instead of in, use of. Of. And instead of fruits, fruit. Okay, I'm not gonna change it because it's useful to keep it around for later. So we're gonna say let fruit of fruits, and then if you do of fruits, then fruit is now going to be the actual fruit. So you can just directly reference the fruit. There. So now fruit is apple, banana, whatever. Make sense?
Wow, nice.
Yeah, let me simplify this. We don't need to eat every time. Let's just console.log fruit. So it's very clear what we're doing. Let's just look at everything that these every one of these loops. For let fruit in fruits. Oops, not int. Yeah, so for let fruit of fruits. Fruit is apple, banana, and orange. For let fruit in fruits, for whatever reason, is the numbers 0, 1, and 2. Yeah?
0 is an apple.
Yes, it's the index of that fruit in the fruit array. So if you did fruits of 0, you get apple. Fruits of 1, you get banana. Right? Let me show you what I mean. Console.log fruits of 0, that's apple. Yeah? Fruits of 1, banana. Fruits of 2, orange. Fruits of 3, undefined, because that's past the end. Yeah, past the end of the list of the array. So that's just a little recap of how the our lists work. We went over that sort of stuff. Wait, where did we go over it? Wherever we here, where we're talking about lists. Okay. All right. Questions. Oh, I have some friends here.
Oh.
Hello, Sung. Hello, Corey. They're new friends, believe it or not.
Oh.
Yeah, it's so hard to make friends in
Hi,
COVID
new
times.
friends.
I know, I was actually wondering how people do that.
Yeah, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining.
Welcome.
All right. I'm excited.
That's fun.
Oh, Corey thinks I'm popular. I think Corey is popular. Okay. So, yeah, questions?
I don't know. I don't think I have questions.
Okay. All right then. We're doing one more thing today, and then we'll be done. We'll start doing some problems. I want to give you folks some problems to solve. All right. So, for loops. We did that. Functions. That's the last thing I want to talk about. So we've seen functions here and there, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I think for loops is a little bit more esoteric because while we've been coding, there's been a few places where we needed a for loop. Most of the time that we've used them in Python. And I'm currently teaching you JavaScript. So in Python, the for loops behaved a little differently than they do in JavaScript. Right. So let's make a function. So the function, there's two ways in Java. There's always a bunch of different ways to do things in JavaScript, but I want to teach you two main ways because these are the two ways we're going to use them. So there is function. You say function, and let's make this function eat the apple. Yeah. So eat fruits. Hi, Rachel.
Hey, Rachel.
Hello, hello.
Okay, so eat fruits. And this function needs to take arguments. You know what? I think fruits is a bit too advanced. Let's use add. So we're going to make a function that adds two numbers together, x and y. So we've probably done something like this. You want to guess what you write here?
Which cards we're holding?
Which? Sorry, say that again.
The cards that we're holding for poker.
Oh, it's the thing. Was it the moon thing?
The moon thing.
What are we talking about right now?
So we're writing a function called add that adds the numbers x and y together.
Okay, so they're just variables.
Yeah, x can be a number.
Okay.
And y can be a number. What do you
want to coordinates?
Well, they can be any number. Let's say that yeah, they can be any number. Let's say return x, okay? So let's see what that does, yeah? So we'll just say add 2 and 3. What does it do? Console.log. What does this do? It returns 2. So 2 plus 3 is not 2. That's wrong. Do you want to fix it?
So the function add here just return x. So we want it to return. What do we want it to return? To add.
It's adding to. It's not adding it to 5 right now. So how do we fix it? Like it's not doing 2 plus 3 right now. It's just.
I mean, we could do this.
Yep. That's it. Yeah. 2 plus 3. You got it. So that's a function called add. Yeah. Now we can write functions in more than one way. That's the add function. Let's do a multiply function. And we're going to write this slightly differently. You could just write function multiply, but here's another way to do it. You can say const multiply. So it's kind of like we're defining a variable or constant. Const multiply is equal to, and then we use these parentheses, x and y. And then we have an arrow. And then you just have your return statement. And let's do this. Console.log multiply 2 and 3. All right, let's make that one work.
Is it the same thing? So are you purposely not in the return statement putting the full thing?
Yeah, for you folks to figure it out.
I see. I get it now. So then you click here and you put multiplication.
Mm-hmm.
Is that an asterisk?
Yes.
So
there you go. So there's our multiply working. Yeah, okay. How come you need the arrow this time? Okay. So yeah, that's the key question, isn't it? So there's two kinds of functions in JavaScript. One is this kind. They are called named functions for reasons. This function here is called an arrow function, and it's an alternative way of representing a function. The nice thing about these arrow functions in JavaScript is that they can be used without giving them a name. You can use it without giving them a name. Let me show you. This is a little weird, but we use it so much in JavaScript, I have to teach it. I otherwise wouldn't want to teach it because it's too weird. But here's the function again, but we didn't give it a name. And we can call it directly. We can just put parentheses here, and we can say 2, 3, I believe. That's right. Yeah, Corey says they're anonymous functions. And let me just put this like so.
We use them all the time because we don't want to type very much.
Yeah. And JavaScript is interesting because a lot of things in JavaScript take a function as an argument. The same way that we passed a number as x when we call this function, many functions that we use in JavaScript take a function as an argument, and we're going to need to pass it that function. So we're going to see it. You've seen it already, actually, in many of the code that we've written. We'll see it again, but take a look at this weird thing I just wrote. This piece of code here is where we define the function without giving it a name. It multiplies two numbers together, and then we call it. Now, this is an example of a thing where you would never do it this way. You would just say console.log 2 times 3, right? You wouldn't actually call a function like this. But sometimes you need to take a function and pass it to another function, have that function call it for you, and then you can then do something when that function gets called. They're called callbacks, and we're going to eventually talk about them, just not today. The important thing to Corey said it, right? They're called anonymous functions. Sometimes in JavaScript they're sometimes called arrow functions, and you can just basically make them without giving them a name. That's the key to all of it. Yeah.
And what are they representing? Just that they're part of the function?
Ask the question another way so that I can I don't understand. Ask it another way.
Well, you're saying they're this. Well, if they're anonymous, they have to mean something.
Mm-hmm.
What gives them its meaning? Do they have a meaning?
They do. The same way that you can say x equals 3, you can say x equals this function that I will call later. Anyway, don't worry about it for now. Just understand that in this case here, we assigned this function to a variable called multiply, and then we're able to use the multiply down here. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And in the future, we might do other things like this. Okay, so that's it for the tutorial portion. Now we're going to talk about some problems that we're going to solve with these cool tools.
Cool tools.
These cool tools. We have everything we need now. We can write functions, we can write loops, we can write if statements. Right? And now that you understand syntax, the way to learn is practice using syntax to solve problems, right? So like build your problem solving skills. And then that will reinforce both your problem solving skills and your use of the syntax, right? So that's our goal. So let's take a look at some fun problems. I wrote up a bunch and I shared them with you. Let's do a thing. We're going to do a really fun thing. The first problem we're going to solve together on the stream is find the longest word in the dictionary.
Oh, are we going to pull up that list?
Oh my.
All right, so problem 1. Find the longest word in the dictionary. So if we do this successfully, we should find that it's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Oh man, nothing's topped that yet.
Nope. So for the people on the stream, we have a variable up here called words. And words is all the words in the dictionary. All of them. Here they are. So I'm going to put that there. And you want to try how to find the longest word in the dictionary?
So because we have the file, the dictionary file, we have to write some type of command in main.
You have to write. So let's think about let's just talk about the problem solving aspects of this before we go and worry about the syntax. How would you search through the dictionary to find the longest word?
Dictionaries only list things alphabetically.
That's correct. So if you had to go through a dictionary to find the longest word, how would you do it?
The only way, because there's no index based on like letters, would you have to look at every letter? I mean, every word?
Yes, you would. You absolutely would. That is correct.
No.
But this is a computer. You don't have to. The computer can do it.
So you have to tell the computer to look for every,
the
longest amount of letters.
Do the thing.
Of all the words in the dictionary.
Yeah. Okay. So Satch, write in English, right at the cursor here. Just write in English a recipe, right? Let's say you're talking to a human that doesn't know anything, and you need to tell them step by step what to do to find the longest word in the dictionary. What does that look like? Think about it like actually cooking cooking food, like a recipe.
Okay, well, should I write them in steps?
Yes, definitely.
Should I type out step 1?
Yes, but you should make them comments because that's what comments are for.
Step 1. Count all letters in each word of the dictionary.
Okay.
Does anyone have anything to say? Pick the longest, count the letters in each word, and then choose the word with the most amount of letters.
Okay.
I feel like it's wordy.
No, this is right. I'm asking you to be as pedantic as possible. And I'm going to prove to you that you're not being as pedantic as possible. I'm going to show you an even more pedantic way to do it. And this is how we code.
Oh, okay. Choose the word with the most amount of letters.
So the problem with the way that you're writing your steps, by the way, is that you're assuming quite a bit of knowledge from this person.
Oh.
Like, what does it mean to count all the letters in each word? What does it mean to choose the word with the most amount of letters?
I see. Should I?
No, this is great. Let me help you. Like you haven't exercised the skill before, so I have to show you. I have to teach you.
In grade 6 I did. My teacher told me, "How do you tie a shoelace?" And then when I started describing it, he was like, "You have to describe it even more. I don't know what you mean by go around the bunny ear."
Okay. So So let's break down step 1. You said count all the letters in each word of the dictionary. Another way to write that would be start at the first word in the dictionary, right? Then count the number of letters in that word. Then move to the next word in the dictionary. Okay? This is sort of the beginning of what we're talking about when we're solving the problem, right? But it's still not enough, right? We're not doing any comparisons yet. But you sort of see what I'm getting at. There was like 3 pieces to your step 1, right? Start at you didn't tell it where to start. You just said look at each one. It's implied, so you're not wrong. But when we're talking to a computer, you have to be very specific about it, right? We're going to loop through essentially every word in this dictionary. We're going to count the number of letters in that word, right? Okay. Now you said choose the word with the most amount of letters. How would someone know if it has the most number of letters?
Right. So it's like make a note of each number of letters of each word.
Rachel, that's a good way to do it. Yes, you could change the words into numbers, and then that's one possibility. Sorry, what did you say, Satch?
I mean, I forgot, but basically count each letter. Count.
So here's my question. How do you choose the word that has the most amount of letters? What is the process that we can use to do that?
We can hold it in, well, I mean, to bring it back to the coding, but like to hold it in a variable so that we know that that specific word is the longest word.
Right. Okay. So here's so what you here. Let me try and translate that a little bit more for you. Hold the word that is currently the longest. Right? Start with empty, maybe, or start with the first word, for example. Right? You basically are going to start by holding a word. Count the number of letters in that word. Yeah? If the number of letters is longer than the current word we're holding, yeah, then update our longest word to the current word. What do you think of these instructions?
Nice. So like this is to kind of meet the problem where it's like to find the longest word. So we just compare the first longest word that we find with the next longest word that we find, and then if it's shorter, then we ignore it. But if it's longer, then we hold the new one.
So now Rachel pointed out that we can change the words into numbers first. The approach here is this approach here. We check the number at each step, right? But there's a number of ways of thinking about this problem where you can, for example, you do things in different passes where you can like count the number of letters and keep track of which one had the most, sort that. Like this is a higher level way of thinking about a problem. Here we're looking at solving the problem with a for loop, but here is another equivalently good set of steps. Because you said it yourself, Satch, you could, if the dictionary were indexed by the number of letters, right, then you could just look it up. So here's one way to do it. Map's not a good word because that's a programming term, but for each word in the dictionary, generate a list of pairs of number of letters, and let's do like this, number of letters and the word. Okay, so that's one step that you could do. In one pass, you can just generate this one list, number of letters and words. Now, sort the list in descending order by number of letters. Then pick the first. Which one sounds harder to do?
For the computer or for people?
That is the exact right question. That is, I was gonna, whatever you were gonna say, I was gonna say for you or the computer. you beat me to it. For the computer, they're both equally. Well, we'll eventually learn about complexity, and this one here is definitely slower, depending on the size of your dictionary. This one is easier both for humans and for the computer. But if you always needed to know, like, a stack rank of the length of words, then generating this one time would be valuable. So that was fun thinking about this problem. Let's now solve it. Who wants to write the code?
Where'd you go for it?
Okay.
I volunteered you.
Oh my god, I don't even know where to start, and then it's instructed to us.
It's okay. I'm gonna help you. Like syntax. So now that we have we have a recipe for solving the problem. Yeah. Now it's just now we're gonna exercise the second skill, which is convert our algorithm. This is called an algorithm, by the way. Convert the algorithm into actual code. So let's start with step 1. Hold the word that is currently the longest. So let's just do that. How do we hold a word?
Well, let's create a variable to hold the word.
Oh yeah. I like what I'm hearing already. Let's go.
So let's call the word Loch Ness.
I don't like your variable name, but for future people on the stream, that should be longest word.
Longest word.
I am playful, but I also want you to write clean code.
Organization comes first.
All right, that looks great. Okay, perfect. What's the next step?
Next step is to start at the first word in the dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we have to find a way to pull up the dictionary.
Yeah, so words is just like our fruits array. Yeah, it's just words is currently the fruits array. No, it's currently like the fruits array. So you can use it. Just like you can do it just the same way we did this one, right?
Yes. Okay, so we'll do like the for statement to start it off. Or
It's here.
and so we do the same thing where we're letting the word of words.
Yes.
And then okay. Word. Whoops. Word of words. Console. Is it the word? Yeah.
Okay. Really great. So you've managed to loop through. You're looping through every word. If we save this file, oh, something is broken. What's broken? Yeah, I don't know what's broken. But let me create a new file because
maybe we have too many strings going on here.
Yeah, and I don't want to figure out on stream what I broke because it's not even important. What's important is what we're doing here. So I'm just going to copy the word-related stuff. Okay. Okay, there we go. And let's start Quokka on this. Oh, I know what the problem is. Actually, it's your console logging of the word. It's very slow to do that. There's a lot of words. Let's comment that line out.
Okay, I see.
All right. So the problem wasn't in the other. Anyway, I do like this cleaner file. Let's go with this. Okay. So far so great. So far so good. Yeah. Let me grab your algorithms from the previous file as well, and copy them over. Oh yeah, this guy's still running. Let me comment out this as well.
Is there a way to stop it?
Yeah, just comment it out and resave it, and then it seems to it seems to do what I want. So.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's go with this line here now. If the number of letters is longer than the current word we're holding, then update our longest word to the current word.
Oh, you still have to count the number of letters.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that.
Do that again. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. What's the?
It's dot length. So you just do word dot length.
Oh my gosh.
We have to. Could we do this?
That's
Const works, yeah.
Okay. And then we would make a new variable here too.
Yeah. Why not? So you want yep.
Word length.
Good.
And then we'll also be doing our like so.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we have to. Okay, but we're not at that part yet. Sorry, I'm thinking ahead.
No. You're allowed to be flexible in your thinking now. Once we've done the exercise of understand this, your code is not likely to match up one-to-one with everything we said in the algorithm. It's okay. You're allowed to jump ahead. Writing code is going to be like that. You're going to write pieces that are happening later first. It doesn't matter. Go ahead. Write what you think is right. What you think is correct next.
Because I'm just thinking about okay, if we're in the first word, then the first word will be the longest word. So if we want to hold that,
we do. Yeah.
So we would have to create an if statement, right?
Yes.
If current word length is bigger than longest word. Oh yeah, should we hold the actual string or should we hold the length of the word?
Yeah, totally. It's totally fine to hold just the word. You don't need. I don't think you need the length. I think this is great. You're doing great. Keep going.
Okay.
No, the way you had it was good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And maybe we could just do longest word equals word. Okay.
Yep. Well done.
nice, Freckles.
Okay. And then what's next? we need to see what that word is now that we've checked it. What's
Oh, right. So, yes, it's important in the troubleshooting process here. Or longest word.
okay? If you just want to see the final result, what is the longest word? Where do you put that log statement?
Oh. And so this is assuming that you finished like searching the array,
Correct.
right? So I suppose it would happen. Would that happen outside the for the for
Yes.
statement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
You don't have to comment it out anymore. This one will be fast because you're only doing it once.
I'm just concerned for the brain of the computer.
The computer is the brain.
I know, right? Oops. That's something.
There it is. Ethyl
Oh my god, it wasn't supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah. It's too bad.
Is it ethyl?
It's some kind of chemistry thing.
Of course it is.
Interesting.
Oh my god, did that do it?
It did it, but we can't see that.
Oh, you can't see it?
Oh, because we didn't run Coca on our side, but we can see it on the stream.
Ah. Yeah. Okay, you did it. Congratulations.
Nice. Good job.
On your first try.
Yeah.
It's wondrous.
So let me show you some minor improvements. You don't actually need to store this in a separate variable. You can just say if word length is greater than that.
Oh, yeah.
And then your code is nice and short like this.
Wow.
Red Shoes 285 says, "Yay, Richards." I agree. You can call him Rickles though.
That's his internet persona.
Yeah.
We just decided.
Oh, that's Niwako.
Oh my gosh!
Hey.
Oh my gosh! Hi, Niwako.
Nice.
That's so cool.
Yay,
I've seen
Rickles.
simplified code. It's like, well, it could easily be like 50 lines if you really want it to be, but you can condense it all the way down to like 7 lines.
All right. Okay. That was great. I'm very happy about where we got. Let's do. Here is the next. We're gonna do some new challenges. Okay. Let's see. I have some very interesting questions. Okay. Here's the homework. Yeah. Ready for some homework?
Yeah.
Ready.
Okay. This homework is for you, Satch. It is find the longest word that you can type with your left hand.
Oh man, I feel like I knew this once.
Is it everything behind like the letter F? Is that the idea?
It's like wasted or something. Just leave that up. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Wow, that's tough homework. That's a tough problem.
It's a slight variation on what we
Would
have.
Would I have to describe what letters are left-handed letters? Like, you know, everything
Yes.
C, F, and V, and
So
left.
I'll give you a few hints. Well, first hint is do the exercise of trying to come up with the recipe. Yeah, try to figure out how to do this, like how you would tell someone else to do it. Okay, and write it down. Yeah, that's the problem solving aspect of it, right? Then the second part is how do you do that with syntax? And I've already taught you everything you need. And then the hint for that is you're going to need this. Oh, are you able everyone looks up. That's where the stream is, I guess. You're going to leave line 175 where we check to see if the first letter of the fruit was in a set of vowels, right? right? This is going to be useful. You'll want to check to see if a given letter can be typed with your left hand. This is a similar syntax, okay? So you're going to need that. Yeah. That's basically the only other bit of code that you need to understand. You learned you're going to need a for loop. You're going to need an if statement, just like we have in our problem, right? And you're also you can start with this base, right? The what Rickles wrote is essentially the base of the larger problem. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's that. And okay, so that's homework number 1. Longest word you can type with your left hand. Okay. The second one is write a function that will translate a sentence into Pig Latin.
Interesting. Okay, so we have to define what Pig Latin is too. Like,
you know what? I want
rules for that.
to give you folks 2 slightly easier functions first, so to warm you up, and then you get to the longest left-hand word, and then you get to the translate to Pig Latin. Okay? So the first one is write a function. Let me write your homework here.
Homework down.
So
One on the board.
write a function to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. Okay? Write a function to convert miles to kilometers. This should be a nice warm-up. It covers all the things that we talked about with functions. And yeah, and then we'll have you don't need to write a function for this. Just find the longest word you can type with your left hand. And last but not least, I think this one should be a function. Write a function to translate a sentence to Pig Latin. Okay, so there's the homework. Sound good?
Nice.
I think it's challenging, but I think it'll be fun. Yeah, and there's you're welcome to use things I haven't taught you, just so you know. Many things will be a lot easier to do if you use things that I haven't taught you, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah, like you said, there's multiple ways you can do things in JavaScript.
Yeah.
And they each have their own purpose.
Yeah. And well, more importantly, you're going to need things that I haven't taught you yet. The basics I've taught you. But for example, I haven't taught you how to split a string up into pieces, which you're going to need if you want to be able to talk about the individual words in a sentence. You'll need to learn how to split things. I'm kind of giving you bits of hints here. So here I've converted... this is how you would convert a sentence into a list of words. But that's just one piece of the problem. You're also going to need to move various letters around in each word in order to make the sentence, and then you'll have to add a at the end, right? Like sentence becomes entense in Pig Latin, if you remember. Translate becomes ranslate. Function becomes unction fe. So you're gonna have to move the first letter to the end and add e accent u at the end. Yeah? Okay.
Nice. Fun.
So remember though, like what I just described to you is the recipe. So start by writing the recipe, then start thinking about the syntax. And you can just send me messages on our message chat Like if you want to know, how do I do this very specific thing? I will just tell you the answer. And that's totally cool. Like the hard part of this exercise is the problem solving part. The easy part is actually the syntax. You'll eventually just get there and you'll just know syntax. Right? The hard, like the part that remains hard all the time is the problem solving part, figuring out the recipe. So yeah, when you Google search and you find solutions for things on the internet, that's usually converting a problem into some syntax for you. But understanding the problem and solving it, that's the interesting bit. We're going to do a lot of that. So I think we have another, I think it's worthwhile to continue to do this for at least 2 more sessions. Just go over problem solving. I have so many interesting questions. So I want to go over all the interesting questions. I want to do things like check if 2 words are anagrams of one another, or how many words, what word in the dictionary has the most number of anagrams. That one's going to be very interesting to solve.
Oh, fun.
So I want to do all those things.
Interesting.
All right. Oh, and some stuff like a Scrabble cheater, a Boggle solver, crossword helper. All of these things we can build with relative ease using just what you know right now. Actually, to be clear, you now have all the tools necessary to solve any problem. Sorry, that's not true. There's one thing I haven't taught you that we should go over at some point, which is recursion. But that's for much in the future. It's really cool though. We'll look at recursion one day. All right. Fun stream?
Super duper
Amazing.
fun.
Okay.
It's nice we had so many visitors too.
Yeah, I want more visitors. I will invite our friends again. Are we going back to Mondays starting next week?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
Sounds good. I will set up the stream and I will let more friends know so that they come.
Yes, you're very popular, Dan.
I'm super popular.
That's so nice to hear.
Yes.
I didn't doubt it for a moment.
Thanks, Sung. Sung says that it was super fun.
Nice to meet you, Sung.
Yeah. I'm going to get more.
Bye, everyone.
And Rachel and Corey.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for joining, y'all. Let's meet up again next Monday if you can. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.